Welcome back to the Teacher's AI Cafe. I'm Kane, a teacher and a parent who wants AI to give us back our time. I share practical classroom-tested AI strategies to cut down your workload, improve your feedback and reduce stress so you can get your evenings back and be more present with your friends and family. No jargon, just actionable steps. Grab your mug. Now let's get going. Welcome back to the podcast and this week's AI Tech Update for educators who use AI. So what's happened in the last 7 days since we did a last update? There's been a couple of big announcements from Google and OpenAI at BAT and Davos. Davos, if you don't know, is where all the mega rich people go to share ideas and then go back and make more money. And a new move from Anthropic in terms of the teacher space. 3 main themes today. Google moving towards deeper into Google Classrooms makes sense for them because that's their existing platform. National systems formalising their relationship with AI, which I think is a good thing. And one company placing teachers at the centre of its product roadmap. I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing. Let's go. So let's begin with Google at BAT 2026, which is a conference. So Google's outlined a suite of AI updates across Gemini, Google Classroom and Chrome OS. The core message is that AI should sit alongside teaching, supporting thinking and writing, and easing some of the admin load for us. For classroom practice, there's been several changes. Gemini will soon be able to use real Google Classroom context rather than generic prompts. This means that the advantage to having this is that you can draft assignments, summarise class progress and help prepare materials that reflect specific learners in your class. So you can start to differentiate and customise it, but obviously that relies on giving up data and information to Google to be able to do that. The redesigned classroom homepage will be coming. It'll be more like a dashboard. Tailored views for teachers, leaders and students. Practical additions include audio and video recording built into the classroom, which I would be really handy. Simple screen capture for demonstrations and the options to tag assignments against learning standards, including Australian frameworks for us who are down under. There's an opportunity here. I guess the idea to draft tasks, quick summaries, easy to generate if you're on the platform. As with all AI, it frees, if you do use it well, you can free up more time. Though lately I've noticed I'm spending more time using it because I'm building deeper and richer sort of resources. The risk is obviously playing drift towards whatever Gemini suggests. So ChatGPT has put some release notes and they're looking at age prediction. So the idea is this, that they're looking at usage patterns and account signals to determine whether the person is under 18. So appropriate teen safeguards can be applied automatically to that account in terms of the responses they get back. At the same time, ChatGPT voice for paid users will be refined to follow instructions more accurately, and default personality of 5.2 instant will be adjusted to feel smoother and more adaptable. The age prediction is quite good for schools. Obviously, a lot of students are using it, particularly in the high school realm with that. So that's a bonus there. How that actually affects chats and responses, we don't know at this stage, but it's a positive step in the way of them becoming more socially responsible so they don't get banned like the social medias here in Australia for kids under 16. At a system level, OpenAI have launched Education for Countries, announced at the World Economic Forum in Davos. The program works directly with ministries and national partners, providing access to ChatGPT EDU, 5.2 study mode and Canvas, with research projects, some tailored planning through AI Open Academy. Their academy is very hit and miss when I've looked at it. Some of the initial partners, say for in one of these countries, your top of the list, Estonia, Greece, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Slovakia, my apologies, Trinidad and Tobago, the United Arab Emirates and Italy. That's an interesting group of countries there, isn't it? So even if you're not on the list, the direction is clear. It may come in the future. AI is really shifting for that optional add-on towards being embedded in everything we actually do. Whether it's a good thing or not, I guess time will show. Anthropic has taken a more explicit teacher-centered route. They've done it, launched Teach for All, which is a global AI training initiative for more than 100,000 teachers and alumni. I don't know who the alumni is. It's not meant you're graduating something, but program combines 3 elements: AI fluency learning series of live lessons, Claude Connect Hub for sharing prompts and classroom use cases, and Claude Lab environment where educators can test implementation, provide feedback, feeds directly into Claude's development. That's interesting because that's a way of actually them getting feedback and, I guess, adjusting their models, maybe for educators. And I guess instead of just relying on that mass, actually looking at targeted groups for development. So they really want to make teachers co-creators rather than simple users. But co-creators, is that because they're just getting our data off us? That should be interesting. Anyway, we'll see how it goes for that. Anthropic also published a new constitution for Claude, setting out the values and behaviours of the model to follow, things like safety, ethics, adherence to guidelines, and helpfulness in that order. Document is unusually transparent and has a direct implication how Claude responds to sensitive topics. As we all know, X has been in, or Grok, which is X versions, has been in the news lately for doing things that people don't think are socially acceptable. To close, restart again. So the last article here is the imaginative side of AI in schools. In Maduri in India, Corporation Middle School recently ran a mock election. Each student received a voter ID that showed an AI-generated image of their future self. I don't know whether they use actual photos. For example, as a doctor, astronaut, scientist, and used that ID to vote in a simulated election. The activity was timed for National Voters' Day and built both democratic values and a sense of future possibilities. It is reminded that memorable users in AI education often appear where imagination, ethics, and local contexts meet, carefully guided. That's quite an interesting one. I reckon you could expand on that and maybe get the students to write pictures, and the AI can play the role of particular maybe focus groups or groups of citizens, and they decide whether they actually like their policy or not, depending on the country goals. You could put a country profile in there, like India in this case. And that's pretty cool. Might ever think about doing that. That could be fun. So, as we see across these stories, once again, the progression is pretty much consistent in one particular way. AI is basically trying to integrate all their tools and structures into everything that we use as educators. For Google, it makes sense because they already own it all. Apple, not so much, and Microsoft is moving that way as well. Really, from the learning management system to national policy frameworks and DevOps, as people, whether it's good or bad, think obviously there's a lot of influence of this small minority group, governments and rich people trying to influence the direction of world politics and economic direction. And once again, the idea is we need to respond deliberately with the student in mind. Anyway, so that's this week's update. There's quite a few changes in there this week, interesting possibilities. I look forward to actually having a play with the Google Classroom. I think I'm actually back. I've got a deal, I think $9.95 a month for 3 months to use a Google Gemini. I'm trying out the Notebook LM. There's pros and cons, so I'm going to do an episode on that with all the updates with the paid version. Till then, I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. That's going to be episode 50. I won't have a guest for that episode. They're actually coming after the next few weeks. I've got a couple of other teachers lined up. So once again, if you're interested, and you want to talk about your journey, no matter how short or how elaborate, drop me an email, and I want to hear your story and learn what you've learnt. Anyway, till then, take care.